Hey everyone, this is Combat Lobster, and we're going to be playing Volgarr the Viking for the PC. Volgarr the Viking is a retro throwback kind of game that takes cues from old retro games like Castlevania and a little bit of Ghosts and Goblins thrown in, and sort of brings it into the 21st century, more or less.
Rise, warrior.
And now we're in gameplay. You can access the main menu by hitting Escape or Start. And to quickly go over the basic controls of this game, you move around, you can swing your sword, you can throw spears, and if you throw them into walls, you can make makeshift platforms. You can also double jump. Jumping in this game sort of models itself after Castlevania-like mechanics. You can't exactly change your trajectory once you've made your jump, so you need to watch where you're going. And now the intro is over, and now we're in level 1. And we see our first enemy, the Lizardman. The Lizardman comes in 3 different colors, the green being the weakest, that dies in 1 hit, and it also attacks the slowest, blue being the second strongest, and attacks a little faster than the green one. We'll be seeing the 3rd color a little later. We can break this gray block and open up this chest to get a helmet. The helmet is basically another piece of life. Health in this game is a little difficult to explain. The best explanation I've come up with is think about the way health was handled in Ghosts and Goblins. Whenever Arthur got hit, he lost his armor and he had to run around in his underwear. That's kind of how it works here. Whenever you get hit, you lose a piece of armor, and it's always a good idea to keep up with your equipment, because they also have special abilities. For example, the helmet gives you increased attack speed, which is always a good thing. The blue shield, or the hammer shield as it's called in the manual, gives you the ability to charge your spear throws to create a super spear throw, which counts for about 3 sword hits. And it also travels further than a regular spear. Also, the blue shield also blocks attacks indefinitely, unlike the wooden shield, which only can absorb 1 attack before breaking. Now we can keep climbing up this rope to proceed throughout the level, but if we go down here and start hitting this wall, we find a little secret hammer. And you're probably wondering how I knew about that. Well, the environment has a little cue that shows you that there is one nearby. This little sword hilt in the ground, it signifies whenever there's a magic hammer nearby. And whenever you see that, it's always a good idea to start poking at walls, maybe the floor. You never know what you might find whenever you see that nearby. Now before we can continue to the right, we're going to backtrack a little bit and throw a spear into this one ledge right here. So that way we can climb up it and get access to another treasure chest, which will give us our final piece of equipment. Now I could get on that platform right in front of us, but if I do, I would trigger another enemy that's just off screen. And to see that enemy, we can use the look ahead button, which for me it's mapped to my L button, which will zoom the camera out a little bit and it will let us see ahead for just a few seconds. There's an option in the options menu that will let you toggle that, so that way you can look ahead as long as you want. The flame sword doubles your damage. It also increases the hitbox of your swing dramatically, especially the spin attack. It's quite useful for reaching hard to reach enemies, and it really changes the way that the game is played. It kind of makes a lot of this game a cakewalk. And we see our 3rd variety of Lizardman, the red one. He takes 3 hits, and he is the fastest at attacking. All this treasure we're collecting is mostly just a score, like for, score purposes. It doesn't really do anything in-game, other than, for bragging rights and on the leaderboard or whatever. Another thing about your spear platforms is that only Volgarr can stand on top of those spear platforms. Any enemy that tries to stand on a spear will break it and fall through. Another thing the spear platform can do is block projectiles, surprisingly. I'm holding back to slow down my descent on this slope, so that way I can catch this one Lizardman that's trying to jump me. And last thing about the spear is that a charged spear can actually pierce through enemies and kill multiple ones in one shot. And now we're starting the second half of the level. That blue crystal behind us is a respawn point. I failed to mention that before, but that's what they do. They are essentially checkpoints in this game. We just picked up our first hero spirit. They will play a part in the next level, but for now we should just concentrate on collecting them. And to collect them, the pattern is collect all of your equipment, and then you get 2 loot chests that have nothing but loot in them, and then you get a hero spirit on the next chest. Basically, the idea is just don't get hit at all and keep opening chests, and you will get a hero spirit eventually. Looks like I see another sword here, which means that there's another magic hammer nearby, and it's right here in the ground. If you already have a magic hammer equipped, you will get 100 coins added to your score. Another thing about the shield, it doesn't really matter if it's in Volgarr's hand or not, it can also block attacks from behind while on a rope. Granted, it's only affected on the shield. It can hit you if the hitbox is just not lined up properly, so be mindful of that. And I just took a hit, which activated the magic hammer, sending out a series of magical attacks that will destroy just about anything in its path, except for bosses. Alright, we could climb up this rope, but if we do so, we're probably going to get hit by those plants spitting up acid. You can pretty much see what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to throw spears into those 2 blocks there, so that way they'll block those little acid droplets, and we can proceed upwards. But instead, why don't we jump onto the first block and kill that first plant on top. And then we can go up this way and get access to another chest, which contains the second hero spirit of this level. I failed to mention rolling in the introduction. To roll, all you have to do is hold down and jump, and you will roll forward. The weird thing about rolling is once you're done rolling, you'll be facing the opposite direction from which you were rolling, which kind of seems a little weird at first. All you really need to do is just re-push the direction you want to go, and you'll roll that direction. This slope looks a little tricky, but all you really need to do is time it so that you go just as the arrows come out, and then roll as they come out again. And you will pretty much come out of it unscathed. And now it's time for the boss. Don't blink, you might just miss it. That boss fight ended a little too quickly, so why don't we rewind and take it a little slower and show off everything that there is to show off. As soon as he swings his club and sends out a shockwave, double jump and throw a spear, then jump and throw another spear, so that way you can create a sort of a makeshift ladder to reach the top and swing at his face. Taking about like 2 to 3 hits and then leave, 4 if you're feeling risky. The longer the battle goes on, he will start summoning Lizardmen to come attack you. Really all you need to do is just jump over them, they'll pretty much just ignore you. And after a couple of cycles, he will go down. Just like that. And our reward is a lot of gold. And we get more if we finish the level faster. Well, that does it for this update. I hope to catch you next time. See ya.